Samer was a young man in his 20s, living a peaceful life in a small town. He was a diligent student, full of dreams and ambitions, and in a loving relationship with Sarah, the girl he deeply cared for, who also loved him back. Their relationship was strong, full of understanding and love, and they had plans to build a future together. But one moment of weakness changed everything. One evening, Samer went out with his friends to hang out, where they occasionally smoked weed. Despite his initial hesitation, Samer decided to try it just once. At first, he felt a strange sense of euphoria and relaxation, something he had never experienced before. This made him believe that the substance could be a way to relieve the constant stress he had been feeling. In the beginning, Samer used weed occasionally, but he quickly began to feel that it helped him concentrate and enhance his creativity. The ideas started flowing in his mind in ways he had never experienced before. He believed that weed made him more creative, and it also helped him relax, reducing the tension he felt in his daily life. With time, he began to associate his ability to focus and be productive with using the drug. Gradually, Samer increased his usage. He convinced himself that the more he consumed, the more productive and creative he would become. The connection between the drug and his abilities grew stronger, and soon he couldn't imagine being able to perform well without it. His use became more frequent, and the addiction took hold of him. What started as occasional use turned into a daily habit, and soon enough, it controlled his life. The consequences of his addiction became clear over time. His mental and physical health began deteriorating rapidly. He started experiencing constant fatigue, and his concentration weakened. He found it increasingly difficult to keep up with his studies, and his creative abilities, once enhanced by the drug, began to fade. Despite this, he refused to admit to the problem and kept using the substance, believing it was still helping him. During this time, his relationship with Sarah also started to crumble. Sarah, who had always supported him, began to notice the changes in him. He became distant and irritable, and his behavior started to shift. She tried to help him, but he pushed her away. He felt like he was trapped in his own world, where the drug was his only source of comfort. She tried to talk to him about his addiction, but he dismissed her concerns and grew more isolated. Eventually, Sarah realized that she couldn't stay in a relationship where her partner was spiraling deeper into addiction. The person she loved was no longer the same, and her efforts to help him felt in vain. With a heavy heart, she decided to leave. It was a painful decision, but she knew it was the only choice. Samer, devastated by her departure, still didn't see how bad things had become. He was so caught up in his addiction that he couldn't grasp the depth of his loss. Then came a breaking point. One evening, Samer fell into a severe depressive state. His mind was overwhelmed with negative thoughts, and he felt completely hopeless. He could no longer concentrate or think clearly. His physical health was deteriorating further, and the loneliness became unbearable. It was then that he realized how much the addiction had destroyed his life. His thoughts were consumed by the weight of his despair, and he felt like everything he had worked for was slipping away. In that dark moment, he made a decision. He realized that he had to quit, or he would lose everything: his future, his health, and his self-respect. He knew that the only way out was to face his addiction head-on and take responsibility for his life. It wasn't an easy decision, but he knew it was the only chance he had to rebuild himself. Samer began his journey toward recovery. The first days of quitting were excruciating. He suffered from intense withdrawal symptoms, headaches, nausea, insomnia, and severe anxiety. His mind was foggy, and he felt as if he was losing control of his body and his thoughts. But despite all the pain, Samer was determined to push through. He realized that if he didn't fight now, he would lose everything he had left. His family played a crucial role in his recovery. His parents, seeing his struggle, provided him with the emotional and psychological support he needed. They were patient and loving, helping him every step of the way. Even though the process was difficult, Samer began to feel small improvements. Gradually, his mind started clearing, and he regained his ability to focus. As he progressed, Samer noticed a profound change. His academic performance improved, and he regained the creativity and drive that had once been a core part of his personality. He started rediscovering his love for his studies and his passions. For the first time in a long time, he felt hopeful about the future. The physical symptoms of withdrawal began to subside, and Samer found himself feeling more energetic and healthier. He also realized that he no longer needed the drug to feel creative or at peace. His mind was sharp again, and he could think clearly without relying on any substances. With this newfound clarity, Samer decided to take another step forward. He had always dreamed of starting his own business, but the addiction had kept him from pursuing it. Now, with his mind cleared and his confidence restored, he decided to make his dream a reality. He started his own small business, something he had been passionate about for years, and it began to grow. Despite all the progress, the pain of losing Sarah remained. He had lost her because of his addiction, and he knew he couldn't undo the damage that had been done. He had hurt the person he loved the most, and it was something he would have to live with. But Samer understood that his recovery was not about going back to the past. It was about moving forward and rebuilding his life. In the end, Samer learned that overcoming addiction wasn't just about getting clean. It was about taking responsibility for his life and making the decision to change. He found new strength in his independence and regained control of his destiny. He realized that true happiness and success came not from substances, but from within and from making the right choices.